Evil is not a word that I use lightly. But the more I think about the behaviour of Prince Harry, and let's forget whether he's been influenced by his atrocious wife or not. Let's just park that for one moment, because the more I think about Prince Harry and his behaviour towards the late Queen Elizabeth II during her dying months on this earth, the late Prince Philip during his dying months on this earth, and now, and I don't want to say it, King Charles, as he's battling incurable cancer, that E word keeps on coming to my mind. And it is almost like just when you thought it was impossible for Prince Harry, no doubt supported by the fake Duchess, to stoop any lower, he goes and does it. It's almost the equivalent of trying to rub salt into his father's wounds at the most difficult time in his life. I am, of course, referring to this shocking new revelation over the weekend that Prince Harry has been in talks to change his last name. His one final connection to the royal family he wants gone, be it Mountbatten-Windsor or Sussex. These conversations took place with Earl Spencer, Princess Diana's brother. And I've got to be honest with you, and I will take you through the story in just one moment, but I've got to be honest with you. Earl Spencer is a bad actor. Earl Spencer is not a man who should be trusted. Earl Spencer, despite his eulogy at the late Princess Diana's funeral, which ricocheted around the world because he was very sophisticated in his delivery, he is a very accomplished public speaker. Despite that, Earl Spencer was not a confidant of Diana in her dying days. He was not even speaking to his younger sister. Because guess what? Diana had wanted a place at Althorpe, the family home, and he didn't allow her. So the idea that we are just meant to all of a sudden trust that Earl Spencer and Charles Spencer is doing the right thing here for Prince Harry is for the birds. This is also a man who wants to cause maximum damage for King Charles as he battles what is probably going to be a perilously short reign because of his cancer diagnosis just months after being on the throne. What Harry wants to do is hurt. He's tried everything, hasn't he? The book, the tell-all TV series, the TV interviews filled with lies. He has tried everything. Racism allegations, bullying allegations, allegations that he wasn't brought up properly. He has tried everything. And that's why we now get to this shock revelation that he sought advice from Princess Diana's brother, asking if he should change his family name to Spencer. Don't think Meghan Markle would like that much, would she, given she's desperate to cling on to the royal family? I mean, actually, can we just take 1 minute to remember Meghan Markle slamming her apparently celebrity BFF in With Love Meghan because the poor actress Mindy Kaling got the name wrong. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Oh, well, not if your husband gets his way, you stupid old has-been. You'll be Meghan Spencer before you know it. Here's the story from Richard Eden in the Mail on Sunday. Prince Harry sought advice from Princess Diana's brother about changing his family name to Spencer, the Mail on Sunday has learned. Sources said the Duke of Sussex actively explored ways to assume his mother's surname, a move that would have involved ditching Mountbatten-Windsor used by his children Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. It is understood he discussed the issue with Earl Spencer, whose family seat is Althorpe in Northamptonshire, during a rare visit to Britain, but was told that the legal hurdles were insurmountable. They had a very amicable conversation, and Spencer advised against him taking such a step, said a friend of Harry. Nevertheless, the fact that he consulted the Earl over the issue, a proposal that would dismay his brother and father, is a vivid expression of the toxic rift with his family. Okay, we're going to get analysis, by the way, from Brittany from the Royal News Network, who is listening to all of this in just one moment. But before we do, I just want to pick apart a couple of the lines in this story. So, a friend of Harry is leaking this. Okay, why? To try and hurt King Charles, to try and hurt Prince William. But this claim in the Mail that this proposal would dismay his brother and father, I take issue with. Because remember, William is so desperate to thrust this guy out of the British royal family forever. Actually, I think there would be a sense of relief from Prince William if forevermore the actions going forward of Harry and Meghan were no longer connected to the royal family. Let me go on. Mountbatten-Windsor is the surname available to descendants of the late Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. It combines the royal family's name of Windsor and the Duke of Edinburgh's adopted surname. On their birth certificates, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's children are Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor and Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor. Royal author Tom Bower has claimed that Meghan decided her real object in life was to be Diana. If the name change had succeeded, Meghan's daughter, who is believed to have met the king only once, would have become Lilibet Diana Spencer, a more fulsome tribute to Harry's late mother. The move would be particularly hurtful to King Charles, who cherishes the Mountbatten name just as his father did. A mentor to Prince Philip, the first Earl Mountbatten of Burma was also a strong influence on his great-nephew, the future King Charles. Philip adopted the Mountbatten name when he became a naturalised British subject and renounced his Greek and Danish royal title in 1947. The Queen and Philip decided in 1960 that they would like their own direct descendants to be known as Mountbatten-Windsor. According to the government, you do not have to follow a legal process to start using a new name, but it suggests on its official website using a deed poll to apply for or to change official documents such as a passport or driving licence. Names and titles are a highly sensitive subject for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They were given their Sussex titles by Queen Elizabeth on the day of their wedding in 2018. And let me just be very clear about this. Prince Harry can no longer utter a positive word about wanting to pay tribute in his life to the late Queen Elizabeth II or Prince Philip, because they would both be rolling in their graves about quite how despicable their grandson has started to act, quite how ungrateful their grandson has started to act. And we all know this is all about Prince Harry trying to hurt his father and brother. That's all this is about. He is a pathetic little man, a sad little man, to use his words about me, who only cares about himself. That's it. That's it. He doesn't give a damn what his family's going through. He doesn't give a damn about the respect for the British royal family. And you know what? I want him to do this. I actually want him to do this so badly, because I've been calling on King Charles now for some years to strip this man of his titles. He doesn't deserve them. And Charles, I'm sorry, I know that this guy is your son, but the time has come to wake up. Wake up. Do this first, Your Majesty, before your son is going to hurt you so much more. Do not let him do this. Do this first. He does not deserve a moment's respect anymore from the British royal family. Lee Cohen, royal commentator in America, posted on this, and I couldn't agree more. Harry's even sicker than I thought. Imagine being born a prince of the blood royal and wanting to change that. He's a disgrace. Brittany, editor of the Royal News Network, has been listening to all of this. Brittany, as you can tell, I'm very worked up about this. I'm very disgusted about this. I'm actually very emotional about this because I just feel like he will... There's no depth, Brittany, now that he will not sink to. And go on, do it. Just do it. Just do it. Drop the name. Drop the name. Seriously, I just want him to do it now, Brittany.
I mean, honestly, people would cheer in the streets if he finally did because they're so sick of him. And you just got to wonder, how much does Harry hate his family that he would be willing to go this far, potentially? And it's just shocking in many ways, but we've seen Harry over the last several years how much he's tried to undermine and hurt the members of his family, and then will turn around and scream victim anytime there's a criticism heralded his way, and or he doesn't get enough time with his dad. It's like, well, no wonder you're not getting any time with your family. You're pulling stunts like this all the time. And it's hard to not realize as well that while his father and brother are currently living and currently being hurt by Harry, he's of course shielding himself with the memory of his mother. And I just can't find anything else more despicable than that either. It's like he knows his mother can't say anything, so he's going to do anything he can, in this case Harry, to hurt the other members of his family, when that's the exact opposite of what his own mother would have wanted. And it's just despicable and terrible, and shame on Harry for going in this direction. But again, if he does it, yay, strip the titles. It's that easy.
Shame on Harry, indeed. And I mean, Brittany, there's so much to pick up on this story. What do you make of the fact that it is a friend of Harry leaking this information out as if he wants to try and upset his father? That's what I find so shocking, Brittany, because that BBC interview, can we just not forget that that was all about trying to upset King Charles? You know, putting doubts on long how King Charles was going to survive, talking about the fact that King Charles wouldn't speak to him. And now it feels like the leak of this story is all about trying to upset King Charles. Can you just imagine doing that to your own loving father at a time that he was battling probably incurable cancer? Just imagine what type of person you have to be, Brittany, to do that.
It's such a shame. And I can't help but think of this maybe even two ways, is that maybe even the friend doesn't like Harry and knows that if he shares this story, oh, it's going to go very, very negative and viral for Harry. Because you have to think as well, he's burned every single bridge that he has at this point. None of his friends like him. I mean, he was literally knocking on doors around a London neighborhood because his friend moved and didn't tell him that. That goes to show you how close his quote unquote friends are. So maybe Harry thinks he has some friends somewhere, but they're more than willing to leak to the press if it damages Harry. And of course, it could be a friend trying to damage Charles and William as well, or hurt that relationship more. But I mean, what is the point at this juncture? Harry is just so incredibly vindictive, and yet he claims he wants reconciliation. And it's so obvious he doesn't. He just wants to get things his way, and he's willing to do anything to try to achieve that. The problem is that at this point, Charles's hands are tied when it comes to the security case. And hey, strip the titles at this point. I think everybody would cheer. Let's get this guy out of the British monarchy. And I have always advocated there should be a way for, if actors or principals in this instance in the royal family, if they step out of line, there should be a route to easily strip them of their titles to help facilitate a healthy monarchy, I think. And Harry has well deserved it at this point.
Well, it's like he's almost daring them to do it now, isn't he, with the leak of this story? But I think it's going to massively backfire on him because he doesn't want to lose the title. And you know who certainly doesn't want to lose the title or lose the name or lose the connection? His wife. I mean, look at the way she monstered Mindy Kaling when Mindy Kaling dared to call her Meghan Markle. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes.
Meghan is obsessed with the title. I mean, she even holds it over her own friends. I just can't forget that note to her friend, Jenna, or whatever her name was, Jamie. And it says, with compliments of Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. I'm like, that's your friend. Where's your fancy cursive that just says, with love, Meghan? Where is that? She is obsessed with the title because it's the only thing that gives her relevance in the industry. And Meghan has tried numerous different things. They have all pretty much failed. And the only recourse she has at this point is to hold over her fancy friends, going, well, I have a royal title. I have a royal title. And you don't. But if that is stripped of her, what does Meghan have? Nothing. We have seen endlessly how she's pretty talentless in this industry of Hollywood. And so she would have no recourse. It's something she will cling desperately to. They will cling to it desperately for their kids. And I know there's requires an act of parliament and there's a lot of processes that go through, but I do think getting rid of the titles and making sure it's something that sticks, I think, is well deserved at this point. Harry has proven himself to be unworthy and basically a traitor to the realm.
Yes, he is a traitor. And the thing is, Brittany, Charles could use this. He could use this as the opportunity
100%.
to say, okay, we need an act of parliament now. We want you to do this, Harry. You've expressed an interest in doing this. We're going to make it easy for you. That's how I would play this, because it's like Charles doesn't want to upset his son unnecessarily, but it's like he started this. He wants this. Don't leave this to William. Do not leave this to William, Charles.
Yes, I think Charles in this instance needs to act more like a king and less like a father. There's a place for that personal father-son dynamic, but he is a king now as well, and he has to think about the future of the realm. And Harry is just a massive liability. And I've always been of the thought, I don't know too much about British politics, but I've always been of the thought that nothing will happen with Harry's title unless Charles gives a indication that that's where he wants it to go. Then I think the titles will be stripped. Something will move through Parliament. But I think Harry, even though he's outside of the royal family, I think some people understand that him and Meghan are separate, but some don't. I think for the future, to avoid the brand of Harry and Meghan dragging down the brand of the monarchy overall, I think this needs to be done. It's well past time. They have proven who they are, that they're despicable, that they'll do anything to make money. They'll sell themselves, they'll sell their family, they'll sell their children. I think they'll sell anything in order to make a buck. And this is not something you want within the British monarchy.
No, indeed.
Or so close to the throne.
Indeed, indeed. And look, I think you are right, Brittany, by the way. I mean, I obviously do very closely follow British politics. And I think you are right to suggest that this is something no politicians really want to touch. The only one who came close, look at this, was in 2023, and I really supported this actually. I had him on my GB News show at the time, was Bob Seeley, who was the Isle of Wight Conservative MP. And he did make plans to introduce this bill to Parliament that would have stripped the Duke and Duchess of Sussex of their royal titles. And it was popular, and I think that gave an opportunity for the royal family to go there. But of course they didn't because of King Charles. Now, Brittany, can we just take a moment to talk about Earl Spencer and his role in all of this? Because I'm really sick of Earl Spencer trying to present himself as holier than thou and wanting to be there for Prince Harry. This guy has his own agenda, Brittany. What do you make of his role in this?
When Spencer, of course, I think of the calamitous aspect of his personal life. And you think of he's been married 3 times in the process of getting divorced. He already has another relationship. He doesn't have a relationship with some of his daughters and those sorts of things. And while that's anecdotal, I just see him in this situation, and he likes to sort of, I think, manipulate Harry. And Harry is just kind of gullible. And Earl Spencer wants an end to the monarchy, I think, as well. And he's like, well, if I can get Harry to, or if I can get Harry to hurt his family, then he feels accomplishment in some sort of way. That's just my opinion. I don't really know him that well, but he just seems to be just a calamitous figure in this situation and just totally willing to. I mean, I think the reason he told Harry not to pursue it is because Harry would lose his title and maybe Earl Spencer would lose something attached to that, not really because it would be that difficult. And so I just see him sort of, like you said, as a bad actor in this situation. And it's funny because I think I've called him out once or twice on Twitter, never tagged him, but he went ahead and blocked me anyways, which I always think is an indication of somebody who can't take even a smidge of criticism. And so that is definitely Earl Spencer here.
Oh, he's blocked me too. I mean, he's blocked me too. He's a very thin-skinned guy. And let's be honest, his role in Diana's history is not what he would like it to be. So he has spent all of these decades trying to rewrite history Because let me just tell you, Brittany, for one moment, I am so close to my younger sister. If my younger sister was in need, was asking for a house, was asking for me to put her up, I would not even question it for a single second. And the fact that in her moment of need, Earl Spencer was not there for Diana, I think is something that haunts him to this day. And that's one of the reasons why he's been so desperate to rewrite history. Brittany,
And I think
sorry,
as
you come in.
Oh, I think as well, when you think about it, he is also using the memory of Diana in order, in many ways, to enrich himself, much like his nephew. And so the memory of Diana is something that they can both utilize for their own financial benefit, you could say, in some ways, in just my personal opinion. So I find that a little cringy and sort of gross as well.
Yeah, very much, very much. Brittany, we thought that Meghan Markle's disastrous flop of a podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, was over. And then she announced last week that there was a massive guest, a huge guest coming. It was quite a disappointment in my mind. Beyonce's mother. Is this really the win she thinks it is, Brittany?
Think so. The podcast has been a flop. And I can see this bonus episode. If it is Tina Knowles, like that's what many people have speculated. I haven't seen full confirmation of that yet. But I think this is a desperate ploy. I'm sure Meghan was begging and pleading anybody to come on this podcast in order to try to elongate its life because it was dying a slow and painful death. And she's just sort of desperate to spin herself as some sort of female founder, which she is not. I mean, who founds a company and then after selling out their initial batch of products goes, I need to think more about this, what I want to do. And it's like, but you already have products. You already have. Anyways, I think this is an indication of Meghan just desperately clinging to anyone out there to try and elevate herself. And of course, Tina Knowles maybe is able to be successful in this endeavor for Meghan. I don't know, but I just happen to see this as a complete and utter failure and flop in so many instances. And if Tina Knowles is willing to go on there, more power to her. But I anticipate this is going to be a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Brittany, it's also emerged over the weekend that Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz have now hired Harry and Meghan's lawyer, which makes you think that this relationship between the two couples feuding with their own families is growing. This is how it was reported. Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz have hired Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's lawyer to help protect their reputations as their family feud escalates. Brooklyn and Nicola have grown close to Harry and Meghan, who have also fallen out with David and Victoria Beckham. They've now instructed the prince's top legal aide, Jenny Affia, to help with reputation management. The British solicitor works for Schilling's law firm and was recently seen speaking on the Princes and the Press documentary. I actually appeared in that documentary as well, and it was a major landmark documentary about what happened between Meghan Markle and the press, and she went on the record to deny bullying. A source told the Mail on Sunday about this. All of a sudden, they have enlisted the help of the Sussex's long-serving lawyer. Nicola and Brooklyn are getting fed up of stories running they don't like. Nicola likes to control everything, and they have taken this rather drastic action. For the Beckhams, the irony isn't lost. They fell out with Meghan and Harry after they accused them of leaking stories. They were furious, and Brooklyn knows that. The two couples are very close indeed. So, Brittany, this does seem to confirm the stories from last month that actually there was not only just a friendship developing between Nicola Peltz, Prince Harry, and Meghan and Brooklyn, but that actually they are helping to advise them in this strategy over the fight with David and Victoria Beckham.
I mean, I look at the situation and I can't help but think of this lawyer and go, they hired this lawyer? Like, have Harry and Meghan's reputations been elevated at all by the hiring of her? In my opinion, I don't think that's been the case because oftentimes the issue with Harry and Meghan is Harry and Meghan. No matter how many lawyers they hire, how many PR people they hire, they will never, I don't think, salvage their relationship with the press and the public the way it used to be. And I think in this instance, if they're advising Nicola and Brooklyn, I mean, you just see the disaster that Harry and Meghan have made of their own lives and go, why would you hire anybody attached to them? That's sort of crazy. But if it is just sort of a revenge in order to get back at his parents or what have you, or they're trying to figure out how to sort of mitigate things. I just think the worst people to take advice from is Harry and Meghan on just about anything. I mean, Harry was the guy who went on the BBC and whined for half an hour about how the world wouldn't pay for his security. He is not somebody to ask any sort of advice from. They have other people I'm sure they could hire, but this close relationship, it's not a surprise if you find yourself on the outskirts of your family. Maybe you want somebody who knows that dynamic. But if you're the issue, if you're the toxic one, you're just increasing your own toxicity because all they're doing is living in the toxic bubble together.
Yeah, I mean, look, Brooklyn's never been the sharpest tool in the shed. Brittany, let's be totally honest about it. I mean, I watched them on the Today Show in America struggle to cook a bacon sandwich, for God's sake. But I mean, seriously? Anyone who is stupid enough to take either PR or legal advice from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle needs their head read.
Yeah, I 100% agree. They're the last people I would take advice from in any stretch of the imagination here.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
One reason this story has generated such strong reactions is its timing. King Charles continues his cancer treatment while the royal family remains under enormous public pressure. Against that backdrop, reports of Harry considering such a dramatic name change inevitably invite questions about motive. Some commentators believe it would further deepen the already fractured relationship between Harry and his father, while others argue it simply reflects how distant those relationships have become over the past several years. Regardless of interpretation, the timing has amplified the public response. According to reports, Harry discussed the possibility with Earl Spencer, Princess Diana's brother. The reports also suggest that Earl Spencer advised against pursuing the change because of legal and practical complications. That detail is particularly interesting because it indicates the idea may never have progressed beyond informal discussions. Even so, the very fact that the conversation reportedly happened has fueled headlines around the world. The story has also reignited discussion about Meghan Markle's public emphasis on the Sussex name. In recent interviews, Meghan has described Sussex as the family name she shares with her children and has spoken about its emotional significance. That makes reports of Harry exploring an entirely different surname especially notable. If accurate, it raises questions about how both Harry and Meghan view their public identity and long-term brand. Without confirmation from either of them, however, much of the speculation remains exactly that, speculation. Commentators have also pointed to the ongoing tension between Harry, King Charles, and Prince William. Years of interviews, documentaries, and Harry's memoir have left relationships visibly strained. Every new headline is now interpreted through the lens of that existing family conflict. Whether or not this reported surname discussion was intended as a message, it has certainly been received by many observers as another indication that reconciliation remains a long way off. Legally, changing a surname is possible in the United Kingdom, although updating official documents and navigating royal titles would introduce additional complexities. Reports indicate that practical considerations may have been one reason the proposal was not pursued further. Even so, the discussion itself has become a major news story because of what it represents rather than what actually happened. Sometimes the symbolism attracts even more attention than the action itself. This latest controversy illustrates just how closely every move involving Harry and Meghan is scrutinized. Whether discussing family relationships, public appearances, charitable work, or branding decisions, every development quickly becomes part of the wider debate surrounding the Sussexes. As long as those family divisions remain unresolved, stories like this are likely to continue dominating royal headlines. The biggest unanswered question now is whether this was merely an idea that went nowhere, or another sign that Harry's relationship with the royal family continues to move further apart.